Hey everyone, thanks for joining today. So we've got a kind of fun, unique title. It's From Garage Sale to Sold. And essentially the premise here is how to find opportunities and clients and deals in your everyday life and how to think outside of the box to find business. So obviously as realtors, whether you're a solo agent or you're on a team, there are some traditional ways to find business. And that's, things like open houses, dialing, we have websites, listings. And so for me, I've been a full-time realtor for over 6 years. And I've sort of identified a pattern when it comes to lead sources, and I've had some really great luck in finding business outside of the box. So we thought, let's share that today, and maybe we can get inspired and approach your weekend a little differently, depending on what your plans are. So I wanted to, for me, and for everyone else, think about the interactions that you have on a daily basis and what kind of opportunities they present for you. Me, I'm a real people person, and I believe that my conversion's better when I can interact with someone. That's why personally for me, I really like things like open houses, and everything works differently for everyone, right? Like everyone likes their specific lead gen. But I just find that meeting in person can be a really great way to form the relationship right off the hop. So I'm going to run through, and this is like a mastermind. I don't have a presentation. We're talking, we're sharing with each other. I'm going to go through a couple of success stories that I've had over the years, and how, I approached it, the conversations that we had, and then we'll go from there. So one of them, I had a past client, and, I helped her buy a house, and, we keep in touch here and there. We have our standard touches like birthdays and holidays and things. And I know that I saw on Facebook, because we're Facebook friends, that she had a second baby. And then I was looking through Facebook Marketplace, and I saw that she had posted like a baby mat for sale. And I was actually pregnant at the time with my second. And to be honest, I did not need a baby mat. However, I was like, you know what? It's 20 bucks. This might get me in the house without, calling her and asking, can I see the house? So I reached out. I'm like, hey, I'm interested in this. And we got to pick up. And as we were talking, I was like, so how are you liking the house? How are you liking the area? And then she's like, you know what? We don't love this street as much as we thought. And we were talking about it, and I was like, oh, I'm like, well, have you guys done anything to the house? Like, if you want, no pressure, I could take a look and just let you know what it could sell for now. So she's like, for sure. So I went over, I picked up my baby item, I paid the 20 bucks, and I took a look around. And at that time, they had bought before the COVID craziness. So they were poised to do actually really well. So when I told her what it could sell for, they were super surprised in a good way. So what do you think happened? Once I said, hey, you could sell for this. Do you think they thought about it? Do you think they, any guesses?
Anyway, I think they jumped at it and said, heck yeah.
Correctamundo.
Said, bring over the paperwork.
Yeah, they're like, let's do it. I guess, because you never know what's happening in someone's life, right? Apparently there was a bit of crime on the street, and car break-ins and things. They're just like, yeah, and we actually realized we do want a garage. And the cool thing was their wish list for the next house wasn't, they're like, we're not picky, we just want a garage and a third bedroom or something like that. So for me reaching out on Facebook Marketplace for a baby mat that I didn't need, I helped them sell that house, buy another house. And because it kind of revived our relationship, she referred me to her mother-in-law, who I helped her buy a house in Georgina. And then the mother-in-law referred me to her brother, who's looking in the area. So just one Facebook Marketplace conversation. And it wasn't just the transaction. You have to actively ask for something. So I said, how are you liking the neighborhood? I kind of snuck some real estate in there. but not in like a tacky overt way, just, you know, part of the conversation. Has anyone else had success on Facebook Marketplace like that? Well, you're going to now. Look, sorry, someone has their hand up or said something? No.
I was gonna add in,
Yeah.
it's Steph. Yes, just
Steph.
even you know, being part of different Facebook groups and communities, like we're in a Georgina Moms Facebook group, and you know, actively contributing in it. You know, I'm always giving away free stuff to moms in need, things like that. Anyways,
Yeah.
we like
Yes.
Tina, you know where I'm going with this, because there was a
Oh,
post in the
yeah.
last few months with sellers looking to sell their home, and they were very adamant about wanting to work with a local mom, right? So
Mhm.
again, they were asking for recommendations because we're both in this group. I know a few people kind of recommended each one of us independently, but ultimately we went on it
Yes.
together. We wanted the JJ team to potentially beat
Yeah.
out any other moms, but just being active in those groups online is also just, you know, name recognition and, you know, future business that way.
Yeah. Yeah. That one was so funny because we didn't like, we saw that and then it just kind of, we didn't know where it went. So both of us ended up booking appointments with the same seller. And then we realized that it was one after the other. We were meeting at a coffee shop. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, no, totally. Like it's collaboration over competition. I'm like, you can get both of us for one price and you'll get double the service. Cause for us, it's more about like, let's help them together if that's what it takes. And so I think she really appreciated that. She didn't have to make this wildly awkward decision. And it's been a blast working with Steph on that listing. Um, Another one, I go to a local chiropractor and I've been going to them regularly and we're friends on Instagram. So I post like real estate stuff like everyone else. And then we were talking or she was adjusting me one day and she was saying how her sister was kind of looking and I was like, oh, whereabouts is she looking? And then she says, oh, she's looking in Keswick. And actually, she said, I saw this really great house online for this price. And because for me, and I always advocate this, like immerse yourself in the area that you're working, like know those neighborhoods like the back of your hand, wherever you are. So right away when she said that price point, I was like, is this the house on, I think it was Lakeview? And she's like, yes. I'm like, oh my God, it's so cute. It's got so much potential. I know the offer date's in 2 days or something. I'm like, do you want to go see it? Well, I think I first asked, is she working with anyone? She's like, no, she just goes on realtor.ca. And I was like, do you want to go see it? And that was the start of like a waterfall of deals from this family. So help the sister buy from this one, like, again, like I was so excited and knowledgeable about it. I like hit the nail on the head. I'm like, let's go see it. Sister bought, then my client, my chiropractor bought a rental property. And then she referred me to her mother who bought a vacant lot. She referred me to her friend who bought a house in Keswick with me. Her mom ended up selling the lot and I brought the buyer for that. And she referred me to her dad. So that's a whole bunch of deals from one conversation in a chiropractor office because I knew what I was talking about with a local listing. Has anyone had any sort of appointment or any experiences like that? Or were more so like where you want to say something, but maybe like you're a little caught, you're nervous? Because I know that can happen too. Yeah, Jake.
I got an interesting one. So I had one, just came to mind when you said that. I had one 2 years ago that I was showing clients in Innisfil, and we went out, we saw like 9 that day, and they were deciding to list. We were driving back to their house and we drove by this place they've been driving in, day out. A builder was building. He was just so happened to be putting up a for sale by owner sign at that time. And so we stopped by, like on our way to go CMA their house after showing buyer properties. We stopped by their house, the builder, and chatted with him in the driveway. After chatting for like 10 minutes, we ended up going in to see the house. Wasn't for them, but I did make a good impression on the builder, and it turned into a listing and a decent relationship with that builder. It was
Yeah.
1.6 million
I
or
remember
so on
that was
that
like
property.
a beautiful custom build, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and that was all just from driving by. I
Yeah.
mean, I was like, I don't know if we should stop in because we were on a tight schedule, but it turned into a pretty good listing and a decent relationship with a builder just from stopping in and introducing myself. Even though my buyers didn't want the house, they didn't like the house at all,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it still worked out.
Yeah, and it's not easy. It's depending on your personality type. If you're a bit more of an introvert, it's not easy to put yourself out there and not make it sound like you're super salesy. Like you want to still come from a genuine place. So it's definitely a challenge. Another lead that I've had. Oh, Tifa's got her hand up. Hey, Tifa. Good morning.
I think I should turn on my camera. Yeah. So I took a sync shift last year September, and spoke with a gentleman who at the time, I think that weekend was they were celebrating his wife's birthday. They were renting an Airbnb, and the conversation, the family started by them saying, well, we've been renting for so long, going to cottages, and we should buy our own. So they were online looking, came onto my sync shift. I connected with them. They ended up buying 2 side-by-side cottages up in Muskoka, intending to occupy one and renting the one next door. And then they ended up listing their primary resident after they bought a waterfront condo with me in Barrie.
Mhm.
And because their primary residence was in a more of a luxury price point, they decided to have their family, their daughter move into the bigger home and sell their daughter home in Angus, which we ended up just closing last month. So
Oh,
one
congratulations.
sync shift,
Wow.
4 deals. Yeah,
Wow.
that was a good deal.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just getting your foot in the door with the family, and then you impress them naturally with your skills and your enthusiasm and your knowledge. So it
Exactly.
does come down, like you can get your foot in the door. However, to convert, you still have to, like I said, like immerse yourself, know what you're talking about, be enthusiastic. And even like for my chiropractor client, like she's so passionate what she does and super knowledgeable. I knew I had to mirror that. Like if I wasn't on my game, I'm out, right? Another one. So I saw on another Facebook buy and sell, kind of a stale lead that I had been nurturing on and off for years. Like I evaluated her mom's house for an estate, and they're on the fence on and off. So I saw this cute little $2 piggy bank. It was like in the shape of a shoe. And like I needed that, like I needed, But I messaged her. I'm like, oh, my son would love this. And so I went back over to the house. I'm like, how are things? How's the house? I'm still working on that one. However, I truly feel like that was the only way I would get back in the door. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, I know her name. I'm getting myself a new piggy bank. And then my last kind of success story is one really recent. So on my street, there was a family, and I noticed, and I know that the owner, I knew he was elderly, and then I stopped seeing him for a while. And then the family came over and they started clearing out. I saw signs of like a garage sale coming up. So I was like, ooh. And so that weekend, the garage sale, the sign went up, and I was a little hesitant because I was like, oh God, like how am I going to approach this where I don't look like, commission breath and super salesy. And it's on my street, so I don't really want to like peeve my neighbors that way. So it took my husband, actually, I'll give him credit. He's like, go down there. He's like, I swear if I see someone else's name on that, someone else's sign on that lawn, and you had a perfect opportunity to go there, he's like, go there. So I did. I walked down with my kids, met the family. We bought a couple of items, some actually really, really cute, like Turkish espresso mugs. My mom needed a fridge. There was a fridge there that was in really, really great shape. So I bought a fridge. So that conversion ROI, as per Courtney's message in the chat for the $20 baby mat, this one cost a bit more. The fridge was $150. However, my mother needed it. So what do you guys think I could have asked them to kind of move the needle and get to the point of talking about real estate. Like if you were walking around in a garage sale, they don't know yet that you're a realtor. You're there with your kid. What would you say to kind of push the needle? Any suggestions? Like how would you get over that hump? Anyone at all before I share? Courtney, what would you say?
What about talking about like a recent sale? Maybe just like, oh, did you see what that house around the corner got? Like, or something
Oh,
that
yeah.
might be interesting to them if they were a little nosy.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a great one. And I actually, that was one of my qualifiers, like to qualify myself. I first started off by saying, so what are you, I asked how the owner was. I'm like, how is Jerry? Is he, and then I found out like he moved in with her. And then I was like, oh, okay, what are you planning on doing with the house? Are you going to rent it? Are you going to sell it? And she's like, oh, well, we were thinking about renting it, but honestly, I don't want that kind of stress. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, no pressure at all. I always start with that, like, no pressure. I'm like, I'm a realtor. I'm with the Jennifer Jones team. We're the top team in the area. And I actually live on the street, so I know it really well. Like there was a sale one street over on Rockaway, sold for this much 2 months ago. So I was like, here's my card. When you're ready, I'm happy to come back and we can talk about just like options. Like you don't have to decide anything. And then now I have it listed. So that's a garage sale success story. It's sold conditionally right now. Yeah, so and these opportunities can come up anywhere. Like I have countless stories like on a soccer field where you just kind of start off like the question is like, oh, where do you live? How long have you lived here? And then likely, if it's your neighborhood that you're actively working, you'll know the street, you'll know some recent sales. So you can say, oh yeah, I sold a house on that street, or I've shown lots in that neighborhood. That's a beautiful neighborhood. I love that park. And then that kind of naturally, like when you say you've sold a house on that street or you've shown a house on that street, they're going to connect the dots that you're a realtor. And then you can say, yeah, like I live here, but I've moved there. I've been a realtor in the area for a while. And how are you liking the area? Like, how are you liking your house? And then just kind of like build relationships from there. So it can happen anywhere. Does anyone have any kind of success stories of your own of getting business outside the box? Or do you have any questions for me? Because I've kind of gone through my success stories. Any questions at all? Anything about what to say, what not to say? Farmers markets, we're still in the season for that.
How are you like when you're doing your marketplace things?
Mm-hmm.
Are there like key like products that you're inquiring about that are like more telltale? Like how are you actually, because it's crazy. It's actually crazy how many you get using marketplace.
No.
Everyone just need to
Nope.
start shopping everywhere.
Yeah.
Just buy everything on marketplace.
Yeah, buy everything on marketplace. Because you'll recognize their names. Like for me, it's touching past clients. I mean, I've also bought several things where I look at the house in the background on the pictures and I like the house. And so I'll just like kind of get my foot in the door that way. Like, wow, you have a beautiful house. Whereabouts is it? Then, oh, it's on this street. Oh, I know that custom builder. We've sold a few for him. It's just a fun way because you never know what their situation is. I bought mums off some back of the truck because I liked the house and I knew exactly what street it was. And so that got me like in the driveway having a conversation. So yeah, I buy leads in a different way. But yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of opportunities. Maybe carry some cash with you guys from now on, just in case you see something off the side of the road and a person with a garage sale sign or they're emptying the house. There's another house on my street right now, actually. There's a whole bunch of furniture at the curb. Like a room full of furniture at the curb. So watch out for that one. Yeah, so that's my story. And this is over the span of like a number of years. It works every time. So maybe take some of those practices and apply it in your own life and think about it in a different way when you're going about your weekend. And that is it. So thanks everyone for joining. And
I have a story that
Taylor,
kind of happened last night. I wasn't going to say anything, but it actually was very similar to what happened to you. So
oh, amazing.
Last night we actually went and bought a baby Brezza from somebody in Bowmanville, and I don't know Bowmanville very well. We showed up at this house. My husband and I were just chatting with this girl like she was a friend of ours, didn't know who she was. And I started saying, wow, this is a beautiful neighborhood. And she said, yeah, we love it. We really like this neighborhood. She goes, my mom's currently living with us, but she's looking to move somewhere else. And I said, oh, that's interesting. I said, I'm actually a new agent and I've just joined the Jennifer Jones team. She said, oh, she said, I don't know who that is. I said, no, we're a big team. I said, we do a lot of listings. I said, you know, if she's ever interested, I would be more than willing to, you know, come by, do a free CMA, you know, if she's curious. This morning, I actually got a text from her saying, we are, you know, my mom's interested. Would you be willing to come out and chat with us a little further about what you're able to do? So that was sort of just, and I actually felt a little bit sleazy, like I was being a salesman.
Right? I know.
And I
It's
didn't,
such a fine line.
I'm just here for the baby Brezza, I swear. And, you know, all of a sudden it was like we were having this conversation about real estate and I thought, this is my golden moment. So it was sort of funny that you were just talking about marketplace. I'm like, wow, this happened to me. So I kind of think today I'm going to be trolling marketplace for every and any little thing I might need and just start getting into people's houses that way.
Yeah, and one is like, first of all, I'm so like happy for you. Like, congratulations. And I know it's a fine line between like feeling sleazy and not, but then you have to get past that and think like, you're amazing. You're backed by an amazing like team. They need to know you. If they're thinking of selling, they are truly in the best hands by knowing you, right?
100%. Yeah, no, and I was like, you know what? It was like, it was my first time doing this, and it was like the light just shone on this woman. I'm like, this is the one.
And sometimes you know,
try to take it.
Right? You make a connection with someone or you don't. And one step further with Facebook Marketplace, once they give me the address to pick up, you can bet I am going in our system. I am checking to see when they bought, how much they paid. We know on average people sell every 7 years. So if they've been there for more than 5, then maybe I'm going to start asking just a little bit more or let them know just a little bit more that I'm a realtor. So I like to go that one step deeper. I've done that with bar stools that I bought.
You're showing up as like it's a CMA and a listing agreement with you.
It's like
I've done the evaluation of your property.
Like, do I print out some comps to bring with me next time? Like, do I show up with a folder? So thank you for the baby mat, but here is all the comps in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I show up with a for sale sign. But yeah, it's like, give me 5 seconds. I'm going to learn everything about you.
Don't forget the lockbox.
I know, right? So yeah, lots of different opportunities. Like, and with Taylor, he was able to make a connection, like in person. You have something similar, like you both have like the baby thing, right? So it's like you've already made that kind of connection. And so I just feel like the conversion might be a little bit easier when you have that face to face. So thank you for sharing. I hope everyone has some inspiration that there are some gold nuggets out there in different ways. And maybe we'll hear about one on next Wednesday's wins. Have an awesome day. Thanks for joining. Bye.
Thank you.